Hello, my name is Dr. Lynn Daniel, PhD, EDS. I'm the self care evangelist here on social media, and I am going to read chapter 5 from my book, Trash Can. Stop being a receptacle for toxic people's waste. Chapter 5, A Toxic Family Member. Relationships are important to develop and maintain. In our lifetime, we meet, build, and maintain a lot of relationships. Some of them last for a longer time than others. Most of the relationships we have with people are out of our choice. The only relationships that are somewhat obligatory are family members. From parents to cousins and distant relatives, we don't have an option of choosing them. Even though family members are non optional, it's better to cut them off when they're toxic. Cutting off family members can help you make better life decisions. It helps you feel more confident in all that you want to do and achieve. Having toxic relationships can bring you negativity. Certain family members are stuck to their roots, values, and beliefs. They aren't willing to look beyond that. You are accepted and loved for as long as you follow their path. Such people cannot be changed because they don't want to. They will either accept you on their conditions or try to manipulate you into believing they are right and that your choices are harmful. When you want to walk your path, it's important to detach from such family members and surround yourself with loving, accepting, and compassionate people. Toxic family members can be the source of your problems. They rob you of the passion and motivation you have for your goals. They create and add more to your issues than help you resolve them. Getting rid of toxicity will help you regain your vision and perspective on life. Family relationships can get complicated, and it's time you recognize which ones are toxic. There are a few signs which could indicate that you're surrounded by toxic family members. Your family always wants you to live by the rules and traditions. Many generations have lived by the same traditions, and you're expected to do the same. The rules are set by your parents. You're constantly following them, whether you believe in it or not, simply to fit into your family. You're either expected to do as they say or considered an outcast of the family. There's no in between in such situations. They will constantly exert their religious beliefs and political views on you. They are unable to accept your sexual orientation or your partner who comes from a different racial background. Some families go above and beyond to make you feel guilty and disgusted by the choices you make. They will refuse to accept a man or a woman in the house when they come from a different origin. Extremely toxic families may even cut you off from the person who has a different sexual orientation. They might treat them as an untouchable or as if they carry some disease that needs to be cured. You feel like you've put you've to put on a mask around them. You aren't allowed to be yourself. This could constantly be creating a battle within you. Such family members can be extremely toxic as they create turmoil within you to either be yourself or to pretend and fit in with your family. Set unrealistic standards. They want you to ace every test, study, and make a career in medicine just like your parents. You're constantly being compared to that cousin who's taken over the family business and expanded it further. There's no space for your goals, dreams, and achievements. You're made to follow the footsteps that they have already set for you. Your passion is considered nothing but a hobby, and you're constantly made fun of for the same. They don't take your passion as a serious career goal. Family members that don't care about your personal space can be toxic. They constantly invade your life in the smallest of ways possible. They will try to interfere in your other relationships, walk into your room without knocking, go through things in your room, and take what they want or need. They don't feel the need to ask for anything. They believe that families are forgiving and take, but they don't believe in holding any respect or gratitude. The younger generations feel like they can be walked all over, as the elders feel like they have the right to do so. You are emotionally unavailable. Your family hasn't been the type to say I love you or I miss you that often. You're hesitant or unable to express yourself because you've never seen that in your family. No one talks about their emotions, and so you feel the need to do the same. You keep your emotions suppressed within you. You always have to deal with problems at home, so you never have the strength or courage to share your other problems as you constantly feel misunderstood. In a healthy family, you're normally the closest to your siblings. You live with someone who's around your age and constantly around you. Hanging out with your siblings, being more friends than just family members, and sharing a part of your personal life are essential parts of a healthy relationship. The things that make a sibling toxic are the same things that make a friend toxic, only with the sibling. It's even hard to separate yourself from the drama. Toxic people consistently make you feel worse about yourself in an unhealthy way. Some siblings might give honest, kind feedback that kind of stings or might make you feel bad in comparison because they've made different choices that have worked well for them. Those are not toxic situations. They're just uncomfortable information that you might learn from, according to Wolf 2017. A sibling can be toxic in multiple ways. They will spill your beans in front of your parents to become the favorites. They will constantly make sure to give you what looks like constructive criticism. They will blame you for their mischievous doings instead of acknowledging their actions. They can't bear to be wrong, and so they'll never take accountability. They will manipulate you into doing things their way, constantly tarnish the relationships around you out of insecurities or jealousy. They cannot bear to see you happy and fulfilled because of their insecurities. They will crack unnecessary hurtful jokes in front of people. If you try to correct them in any way, they'll simply brush it off as a joke to entertain and not to take it seriously. Toxic siblings can create a deep sense of low self esteem and low self confidence. You'll constantly compare yourself to them, and that'll create more insecurities within you. They will do anything that it takes to be the favorite one in the family and even outside. Toxic parents can have the worst impact on a person. They can cause a child to live in fear, guilt, or obligation. It's okay to come from a family of dysfunctional parents as long as they keep their private matters aside and not let them affect their children. Parents that are self centered neglect the emotional needs and wants of their children. They will always dominate the situation without taking into account what their children feel. In a healthy relationship between the parents and children, the parents will always try and fulfill most of their needs. There could be times when the children have to look after their parents. They are immature to have and they are immature to raise a child. So the child is forced to eliminate their entire childhood to raise their parents. Some parents might be too involved in substance abuse to take care of and look after their children. In worse situation, the children even have to take care of the bills and run the house because of the incompetent parents. Some parents could also be physically abusive. They could be hitting or beating up on the children behind closed doors. Often angry parents who are under substance abuse could use their children as a means of emotional outlet. In such situations, it's best to get external help. Maybe another family member, a friend, or someone of authority who could take care of you. While a physically abusive parent is pretty obvious, an emotionally abusive parent can be less obvious in their toxic ways. They could be manipulating your emotions to meet their needs. They are classic examples of a guilt tripper. A parent knows you well and knows what your weak spots are. They will constantly hold you accountable for their behavior and use your weak spots against you. Some parents could also use time or money against you to stop you from achieving your dream life. They go to any extent to prove their point, even if it's hurtful to the children. For example, being slyly hurt by jokes on their children's behalf or their choices could be considered hurtful. For example, being slyly hurtful or cracking jokes on their kids or their choices could be considered hurtful. A person suffers through years of physical, emotional, and mental trauma when a family member is toxic. Toxic families leave the deepest wound since they have easy access to you for years. That doesn't mean you keep giving them access to you. It's okay to cut off a family member to regain your emotional and mental well being. There are certain ways to cut off family members, such as realize and acknowledge you've dealt with emotional or physical abuse. It's okay to hold a family member accountable for something they've done, even if they refuse to take accountability. Don't feel guilty for doing the right thing. We've always been taught to be loyal to our family, to fulfill the obligations as a daughter, wife, mother, husband, or son of going on a family trip, Taking care of parents, getting along with your cousins, or looking after a sibling. It's okay to feel guilty since these virtues have been embedded in us from a young age, but don't let your guilt override your well being. Make a decision that is good for you. It's okay to prioritize your mental health and emotional well being over other people, even if it's your family. There's nothing wrong with letting go of excessively hurtful people. Even though you cut them off from your life, you might bump into them from time to time at various family events. Mentally prepare to face them for a few hours. Be cordial, but avoid holding long conversations with them. It's okay to greet and have small talk for the sake of family, but don't get personal with them. Keep your boundaries high and don't give them a chance to make you feel bad about yourself. Check in beforehand and see if they are attending a certain event or plan to come for a family holiday. If their arrival is anticipated, then reevaluate the event, the holiday. Do you have the mental and emotional capacity to be around them? Is this event important enough for you to attend? Do you think you can skip the event without causing a big issue? Analyzing the situation beforehand will help you know what to expect. The main aim or goal is to prioritize and love yourself. Your self love should be of utmost importance to you. When you experience peace, harmony, and self love, you're able to spread it around you. When you remove something negative, you give yourself the chance and space to let something positive enter your life. You have the same you have the time and energy to focus on things that make you happy and fulfilled instead of draining you. You gain a new perspective towards a life without someone altering your version. It's not an overnight process and it's not easy. It's difficult. But now you will have the time and energy to work on those difficulties. It's difficult to work on yourself, but it's also difficult to stay around someone toxic. It's up to you what difficulty you want to choose. When you start working on yourself, you will truly figure out who you are. You will meet new people, those who will support you through this journey. You will discover new habits, experiences, and hobbies as you figure out yourself. It won't be so easy, and there will be highs and lows that you experience. You will go through emotional healing, which is not always the prettiest. It's not a glow up that happens overnight. Don't let the internet fool you. It's not all skincare and spa. It's waking up and going for a walk in nature on days you want to cry in bed. It's putting in the extra hour of work to meet your financial goals. It's building the habits that you might not enjoy but know are beneficial for you. You will still go through emotional ups and downs as you discover your emotional wounds, but now you have the chance to heal. Go through that journey for yourself and your well being because it will be worth it. Now, let's talk about your mental health and well being. When your environment is unhealthy, your mood can dip and you feel lethargic. When you're in such an environment for too long, you can develop mental illness such as anxiety or depression. Some of the symptoms of anxiety or depression can be restlessness, low self esteem, lack of self love, and feeling drained. You need to recognize these issues so that you can get rid of toxic people and work on improving your mental health. When you work on your mental health, There are a few benefits that you'll notice initially. You will learn to celebrate yourself. Once you get rid of toxic people, you will start realizing your true value. You will feel more at peace. There is a calm and a composed vibe around you, and you don't feel irritated or annoyed since there is no negative vibration around you. You're not living in fear anymore. Having toxic people around you can make you feel scared to speak up. They are manipulative and always blaming you for their mistakes. Removing anyone toxic from your life can be painful and exhausting, but it's worse when it comes to family. Our family is our origin and our identity. You live with your family for years. You grow up with them, and they give you the basic resources so you can be who you are. So, cutting off a family member might feel like eradicating a part of your identity. It's difficult to let go of someone who has been a part of your life from the moment you started existing. Family values have always been embedded within us. Values such as always being respectful to your elders, family comes before anything, or family always sticks together. But what do you do when you come from a family that's filled with constant drama? A toxic family can create emotional turmoil within you, a turmoil filled with betrayal, confusion, anger, hate, and jealousy. It takes courage and bravery to cut off a family member. It takes a lot of willpower to let go of your roots and origin. You have tried everything in your power to talk to them, repair your relationship, but your words feel meaningless when nothing changes. They continue their toxic behavior and hurtful words and actions. Your existence is not meant for you to let others dump their emotional problems onto you. You are worthy of respect, love, compassion, and kindness just like everyone else. Do not allow anyone to let you think otherwise. You might not want to give up, but lately that's the only valid option for you. You shouldn't be responsible for their lack of awareness. Accepting that your family member is toxic is half the battle won. You need to stop justifying their every action. You need to let go of the idea that you ever have a healthy relationship with them. When you have accepted the reality in front of you without creating any justifications for their actions, that's when you will start building the courage to let them go. Working on your inner self will help you through this process of grieving. Instead of stalking them on social media or keeping tabs on them through other family members or tearing apart a family photograph. Cutting off a family member is different from cutting off a friend or a romantic partner. You have minimum chances of seeing a friend or a romantic partner ever again, but with the family member, you're more likely to see them at certain family events. In such situations, avoid having any interaction with them. You might be tempted to talk to them. It'll be either out of love and care you have for them to check if they are doing okay, or you could want to confront them out of spite and anger. You want to confront them about their actions or blame them for their wrongdoings. It's normal to feel that way, but hold yourself back for as long as you can and remember they are not worth it. But while you're dealing with the emotional ups and downs, You are also experiencing a lot of peace and emotional freedom. You feel like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders. You don't feel like you're carrying the world around. You don't feel guilty for their unfulfilled emotional needs. You don't experience their negative vibrations anymore. You feel happy doing what you love without their negative judgments. You're overall happier and in a much better emotional state than before. By letting go of negativity, you make room for positivity to enter your life. You seek to fill this space by making your life more emotionally fulfilling. When you finally let go of the toxic people, you realize that you're worth all the love and respect that there is. You start realizing your value. This toxic relationship will show you not to settle for something that's not up to your standards. When you raise your expectations, you meet people that will match up to them. You change your inner world to see the difference in your outer reality. When you show people that you won't settle for anything less, they will either leave or raise themselves to match you. By not settling for anything lesser than your value, you create the quality of life you desire and deserve.